Life magazine. I am sitting here with George Rosario. We'd like to congratulate on him on becoming mayor of Groveland. We also would like to let some of our listeners know on the different magazines that we now represent that he is Groveland's mayor now. He'll be, I guess, in office on Monday of this week, so stay tuned for that. We want to find out your mission today. Tell us a little more about yourself, and if there's any other things you want to talk about, you can. So what is your mission for Groveland, and where do you see the changes that you're going to need to make?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, JAPEC, and your TV viewers, bringing this to the people in the community. Being the first Hispanic here in Groveland, it's history in the making for the people. When I began embarking in this campaign, I had a discussion with my family. I spoke to my wife, I spoke to my daughter. They clearly know, it's in my blood. It's always been involved in community service. Public service is always been one thing that I've always been involved with in making sure that there's transparency. And during my campaign, I read on some important issues that resonated with people. And clearly the taxes. Yes, we in the community, we address that we see the taxes should be lowered down. I would say 80%. The homeowners are carrying the burden because we don't have enough retails, nor we have enough manufacturing. However, with that, we were able as community leaders to express to the council, the mayor, outgoing mayor, about the taxes and knowing them, and so that was succeeded. We've succeeded doing that. The other areas that
before you go any further, let me make sure we have this straight. The more commercial you have, the more funds the city gets. Am I correct?
Absolutely, exactly.
Because if you have too many homes, then you're almost defeating the purpose if you don't have enough commercials to support that.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
So economic development, and it's very important. And the other area that I ran on my campaign and my platform was lawsuits. The city has been wrapped around in many lawsuits, and the carrier has put us already on notice of possibly being dropped, and there are still some other lawsuits that have not been resolved. I'm hoping that when I am sworn in, I can be brought up to speed with what's going on with these lawsuits. Most of these lawsuits are being settled out of feelings. That's not the way that our city attorney shouldn't operate, because it's the taxpayers' money. And given that serious thought, I've asked the interim city manager for a meeting regarding these lawsuits. And the other area, education. How can we better improve the high school graduate rate here in South Lake in Groveland? South Lake High School. I wanted to put together a PTA committee, parents and teachers, where they can implement ideas, where I would sit with them.
You're going to physically get involved.
Absolutely. Okay. Hands-on with them. And
we can hold you to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely you can. My daughter graduated from South Lake High School. I'm very proud of her. She's full-time in college at Valencia University. And what it took is parent involvement. When the parents are involved, your child succeed. There's just too much play game during the summer. There's not much for the school kids to do. So I've also brought the idea of putting the parents and teachers committee together, starting with South Lake High School to improve the graduation rate, getting them involved in local government. Their ideas and their inputs would then be referred to the school district in Lake County. The other area that people were concerned with was the police department. The police department has been in turmoil for quite some time. We've been in the news, not for good things, but then again, we've decided that we will hire, or not hire, but contract with Lake County Sheriff. We have, as an acting Chief English, he is the one that is now working with the Groveland Police Department to make sure that everything is put according to the policies and procedures. I had several meetings with him today. I've also had a meeting with the Public Works Director, Jamie, from the Water Department. I was stunned and surprised, and he's only been here 3 years with us, how he brought the Public Works Department up to speed with the stuff that needed to be upgraded regarding water, so with the water pumps and pump stations. With regards to the Police Advisory Committee that I support, continue to support, I've asked Chief England to look into the committee, because the committee is not active at this moment. I was informed that it was done away with it by the former chief, where this committee was welcomed with open arms by the community and the people of the city, because it shows the transparency of this committee. Is in charge with the task of investigation, of discipline, or recommendation to the chief of police. So I've asked Chief English to look into the committee, where members of that committee are former inspectors of the police department, not of our police department, but retired law enforcement and attorneys. And I'm hoping that that committee can go back into...
Now let's backtrack. When it comes to education, I want to make sure, because you know some things we're going to want to follow you around. We believe in transparency, and we're going to fight for it more harder now. So even at some of your city hall meetings, we're going to be getting up trying to get answers to questions. I always say practice what you preach. Now, if you're going to get into the education, we are going to be trying to follow you on that. If you're going to implement the police commission, is there a way that we're going to be, or should we ask this in front of the city council, be able to get interviews and find out what's going down there? And it is going to be open for the public to see, to get involved in this.
Oh, absolutely. Having an open door policy with these committees, and not only with the PTA of Parents and Teachers and Students Committee, it's important that it be, transparent and an open door policy, so that you'll have more people engaging once they see the things are beginning to take shape, and things are beginning to be implemented, and plan of actions are on place. Then people will begin to kind of sort of, I just want I like for the community, for the people of the community, the people of the city, to be more involved in our government and what is happening with our city.
Okay. Now, far as you, apparently you've had a strong campaign, you've won. The ones who have lost, would there be an open door to speak with them?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I will be reaching out to my opponents, Mr. Wilson. I will be reaching out to Mr. Smith to assist me in implementing these committees. I'm hoping to see them involved in committees as well. They've been very instrumental in council meetings, and I look forward to working with them as well.
Okay. Now, apparently you are going to have some things that's going to be floating over. How are you working with others? How do you feel you're going to cope working with others that are there now?
Working with what's there now, I would have to look at it very diplomatically, and listen.
Okay. And here's the thing, I'm very realist with everything. You've been known to have your hot heads, and you've been known to stand up for what you believe in.
Correct.
You seem like a different tone now, and I've seen that throughout your campaign, that you've changed.
Correct.
Is this going to be throughout your stay as mayor?
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this, that as much as I may not like an issue, my faith, my beliefs, my Christianity of being a Christian, and God saying to me, now you're going to need to be grounded, because I've given you a mission. And that mission, as a Christian, as a leader of our people in the city, not just any particular person, but our people of the city, is to represent them, to heal the city, and bring love and understanding.
And let's get on that, since we're going to talk about that. healing. How are you going to heal the corruption or the sadness or even the diversity that's needed in this city?
Well,
What is your vision on that? And I'm sure you're going to ask, as you said, you're going to work with Wilson, you work with James. I'm sure maybe a meeting should come up to figure out that what all you're putting your heads together and see their ideas. And of course, we would like to be there on that one. But how are you going to work to diversify Groveland more to make it more unity?
well, it's those that don't see eye to eye, try to communicate with them, get to their level and understanding, in letting them know the importance of working together. We may disagree on things, but respectfully, as human beings and adults, we should be more respectful to each other. I think it reflects in council as well as the mayor. That when you have a divided government, a divided council, nothing gets done. And so I'm going to try to implement to bring that wisdom. It's in nature of God to say, now you've been placed with a task where you're going to need to be more humane to each other.
Now, are you going to have to bring the council together? Absolutely. And the people who work? Is there going to be any kind of, what do you call it, when you get the councils together, like some sort of meeting to start working on bringing unity?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be implementing within the next few months a workshop.
Okay, workshop.
Yeah,
yes.
A workshop on how to try to better understand issues that are complex, that are the one that causes these divisions. But then again, also, bad news travels faster than good news.
Well, you get ahead of it. Diversity. So how are you going to make sure that's implemented? Are you going to have maybe people can't come in? Because here's the thing. Let's face reality out here. It's racism, it's bigotry, and it's hate.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we combat against that with the workshops? Are you going to bring people in that are going to be or something diversified where they can talk about this behavior, that behavior, and let people know where other people are coming from? Is that going to be on your agenda?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that, having these workshops with the groups that see things differently and don't agree because of their ethnicity or the race, we need to talk about it because the country it's been divided. Look, I have to accept the presidential election for what it is.
Okay.
And I have to give them an opportunity. But then again, we must be mindful of who we are. We are all the same. We may be, black or, brown or whatever, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And to diversify that committee, it's my priority is to put that message out,
And allow people to get to know who
Exactly.
you are. Now that we've got that out of the way, the second thing that's on my agenda, even talking to you, is the businesses in Groveland. How are we going to go about getting them out there even more? Of course, we want to work with them with the magazine, but is there any plans in the future where you hold a business meeting to try to get what is going on in the business things out there? Is there any plans for that?
Yes, during my campaign, while pounding the pavements in Groveland, I visited several businesses, a couple of other businesses a little further out from the downtown area. They feel that the city, and when I say the city, the some departments are not business friendly. They feel that way. The thing that we
Can you pull the businesses, because everybody knows I fight for small business, but can you pull the businesses along with that department in a meeting or invite or figure out how to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
To sit and talk about what we need to do to fix this issue.
Absolutely. I think that the economic development director, whose task and responsibility is of that, is to make sure that businesses are up to date with information of what our city is doing in terms of policy and procedures that even for that matter with code enforcement. I think that you know, bringing more of those businesses together and setting up a workshop to create a representation among small businesses in our city that can also piggyback off newcomer business and say, hey, you welcome to Groveland. This is who we are. It's to create that, you know,
inner structure.
Exactly, that structure, and I believe that would work.
Because my thing is, we're gonna have high kids school coming out. Some of them may want jobs. To build the infrastructure so that by next year or the year afterwards, you got some jobs where people ain't got to go that far.
Exactly.
And then looking at what's needed in Groveland. So that's why I'm asking you these questions, because people going to want to know, what is the next plan? What are you going to do about my business? Is there going to be meetings where we can vent what is going on and what can be fixed? Now, of course, we know everybody got their opinions, but we're going to have to accept the good with the bad and then find out what's the strongest and what's the best way of going about it. Now, I know you spoke a while back about businesses. So that's the structure that I'm talking about.
Correct.
Trying to do. And then getting involved in every aspect of it. And apparently you're going to still do the same thing.
Absolutely.
As you did on the campaign trail.
Absolutely.
Am I led to believe this?
Absolutely.
So at some point we may even come down and follow him while he's out there talking with people and getting people more involved in it. Maybe a day with the mayor. We come and follow you around with the cameras.
Please.
As you talk to businesses. They voted for you. Now it's time to go to work. And that's the way I feel. If I ever decide to run, then it's going to be.
I'm here.
We did it.
At your disposal.
So, how would they go about getting in touch with you? Have you got the, how soon before you get the cards ready and all of that? Or how would they go about finding you?
I have 4 orientations today. Yesterday I had an orientation with the fire chief, Chief Morgan. He brought me up to speed with the department, the fire department, the staff. Today I had 4 orientation. I met with the public works director, Jamie, who's done a fantastic, a fabulous job. I was so surprised of the level of commitment of his crew, himself, and how he has been able to bring up to date our pumping stations that supplies our water to our homes and our citizens. Also met with Chief English, who gave me a tour of the police department. There's some issues that, of course, I brought to his concerns with regards to the police advisory committee. And I've also met with the city clerk, Teresa Maxwell. She was able to provide me information. She would be sort of my liaison, you know, the chief of staff of the city. And I met with Mrs. Walker, and we had a very constructive discussion regarding the staff and the function of the city, and pretty much been brought up to date with a lot of things.
Well, I'm happy for you. Congratulations, and I wish you the very best. And of course, we will do our best to cover more stories on him. Is there any last words you need to say?
I'd just like to thank the people of Groveland for their vote of confidence. I look forward in working with everyone. I urge you to come to these meetings, because without you, it would have not ever been possible. I want to thank my family, my wife, Aloha, my daughter Julie, and Julie, keep up the good work in the university. I'm very proud of you. And I want to thank most of all God and Jesus, because He has placed me with a task to service the people, and I'm going to do that. Thank you very much. God bless.